Hi, I am Sophia, the avatar of the workspace. Would you like to see an interesting video? I invite you to join me on an adventure of discovery and learning. In this audiovisual content, you will find valuable and entertaining information. So don't think about it anymore and stay until the end. On this occasion, I come to talk to you about a very interesting book. The Richest Man in Babylon. Have you ever heard it? This book presents a number of key financial principles, including the importance of saving a portion of income, investing, avoiding excessive debt, and seeking wise financial advice. Through the stories it contains, these principles are illustrated and the consequences of not following them are shown. The Richest Man in Babylon is a book written by Jorge Samuel Classen. Born in Louisiana in 1874. He studied at the University of Nebraska and began his career as an insurance salesman. Later, he became a writer and published several books on personal and business finance. The Richest Man in Babylon was the book that brought him worldwide fame and recognition, published in 1926. The work, written in the form of a parable, presents basic financial principles for economic success through stories set in ancient Babylon. It explains the story of a man named Arkad who is considered the richest man in said city. The stories in this book illustrate his financial advice, are easy to understand, and full of wisdom and practical advice. How about we explore these stories together? The first story in this book is titled The Man Who Wanted Gold. It tells the story of a man named Bansur, who works as a carter, but complains of not earning enough money. One day, he meets a man named Kabi, who convinces him to invest his money in a business opportunity that will give him great profits. Bansur accepts, and together with his friend they begin to invest in a gold mine, but they soon discover that the mine is not profitable and they lose all their money. Through this experience, they learn the importance of acquiring financial knowledge before investing and the need to have a solid investment plan. We continue with the next story. The Richest Man in Babylon. This story tells us how a man named Arkad learns from a friend to save money and make wise investments. Over time he becomes the richest man. His immense fortune made him admired throughout the world. He was also known for his abundance and gave generously to the poor. He was splendid with his family, he spent a lot on himself. But his fortune increased every year more than he could spend. The third story presented in this book is titled The 7 Ways to Fill an Empty Bag. This story tells how Arkad one day meets a friend who complains about his poverty, and asks him for advice on how to fill his empty purse. Arkad teaches you the following 7 ways to fill a bag. Start saving a portion of what you earn. Control expenses and avoid unnecessary expenses. Grow the money you save through smart investments. Protect saved money from possible losses. Own your own house to avoid paying rent. Have an additional source of income. And finally, plan your financial future in advance. Arkad explains that if his friend follows these 7 rules, he will be able to fill his empty purse and achieve wealth. This story becomes a valuable lesson for readers of the book about the importance of financial planning and money management to achieve financial stability. The Goddess of Fortune. This story centers on a man named Bansur who is a talented, but poor, musician. Bansur meets his friend Kabi, who tells him about how he met the Goddess of Fortune and how she gave him a bag of gold. Kabi suggests Bansur to go find the goddess and ask her for a bag of gold for himself. Bansur decides to follow Kabi's advice and goes in search of the Goddess of Fortune. When he finds her, he asks her for a bag of gold so that he can be rich and successful like the musician. The goddess replies that she will only give him a bag of gold if he proves that he is able to handle money effectively. The goddess gives him a loan of 10 pieces of gold and gives him a period of 1 year to repay it. Bansur accepts the loan and starts working hard to earn money to pay off his debt. Bansur followed Arkad's advice on the importance of saving and investing, and finally manages to pay his debt to the goddess of fortune. Furthermore, Bansur understood that the true goddess of fortune is his own ability to manage money and make it grow. This story teaches an important lesson about financial literacy and the ability to manage money effectively for success. The Gold Lender of Babylon. This story tells about a man named Dabasir who was a moneylender known for being a fair, honest man, and for having the ability to make his money grow thanks to his knowledge of financial principles. One day, a man came to the city of gold looking for a loan. He was ambitious and wanted to build a successful business, but he needed money to get started. Dabasir lent him the money, but asked him to sign a contract agreeing to repay the loan with interest. The man accepted and started his business. At first, things were going well and he was able to pay off his debt to Dabasir. After a while things started to go wrong and he found himself in a difficult situation. Instead of borrowing more money from Dabasir, he decided to look for loans elsewhere. Despite which these loans had higher interest, and in a short time he found himself in a situation of increasing debt. Finally, the man realized his mistake and decided to return to Dabasir to ask for help. Dabasir received him and instead of getting angry taught him the financial principles that he himself had used to build his wealth. These principles are the importance of saving, controlling expenses, and making money work for yourself. Thanks to Dabasir's teachings, the man was able to overcome his debt situation and build a successful business. At the end of the story, Dabasir is shown to be a wise and fair man who not only lent money, but also taught people how to build their wealth fairly and honestly. The Walls of Babylon. This story talks about the importance of protecting wealth. Arkad tells the king that Babylon is a rich city, and therefore vulnerable to looters and thieves. To protect the wealth, Arkad advises the king to build walls around the city. The king follows his advice and the walls are built. Thanks to these walls, the city of Babylon becomes even richer and more prosperous. The next story is the Camel Trader of Babylon. It tells the story of a man named Dabasir who, despite having a good job and a stable salary, could not save money. One day he meets a friend who explains to him that the key to wealth is to save at least a tenth of your income. Dabasir puts this advice into practice and saves money. He decides to invest in camels and thanks to his cunning he makes his business grow. In the end, Dabasir becomes a very rich and successful man thanks to his financial discipline and business skills. History teaches the importance of saving and intelligent investment to achieve expected objectives. The Babylonian Most Favored by Luck. The story tells how Arkad learned from a friend the importance of saving and investing his money wisely. Arkad began to apply these teachings in his life and began to accumulate wealth. He also learned not to take unnecessary risks and to diversify his investments to minimize risks. And with this we come to the end of the video. I hope you learned something new. If you liked the content, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for joining us.